Hi everyone, welcome to Raise the Bar, the podcast where we learn from leaders who push boundaries and inspire us to think bigger. I'm Rehan Khimji, your host and the founder of Snack, India's first protein bar created specifically for teenagers. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Mr. Nalin Moniz, a seasoned business leader, investor, and CEO with decades of experience in finance and asset management. Beyond the boardroom, Mr. Nalin is also a 3-time Ironman finisher and a TEDx speaker who deeply believes in discipline, resilience, and long-term thinking. I'm excited to explore how mindset, health, and leadership intersect in his journey. Mr. Nalin, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Ryan. Great to be on the Raise the Bar podcast, and you can just call me Nalin.
No, thank you so much. And in your TED talk, Nothing is Impossible, the Ironman Spirit, you speak about pushing beyond perceived limits. Where did this mindset, come from first?
I think, Ryan, a lot of us who are in our 30s or in our 40s grew up in a very different India. An India before 1991, when it was liberalized, was an India of scarcity. Today, we are all blessed that we live in an India of abundance. And I think in that era, right, you learned to do more with less. And whether it was, the toys that you had at home or vacations or school or, even the job opportunities that you had, you really had to claw for every small win. You had to claw for every small, piece of advancement. And I think that mindset of continuing to push against perceived limits from that place and was really shaped by the India of the 1980s and the early 1990s. You also now know, Rayan, how old I am. So,
3-time Ironman finisher, I don't think age has anything on you.
Yeah.
Training for an Ironman also is really physically and mentally exhausting and demanding. How has this endurance sport shaped the way you approach challenges in business and leadership?
Right. So, Rayan, the way I like to break it down is, this is a very, very large goal, right? It will take anybody at least a couple of years to get from couch to Ironman. And even on race day, you are going for, 15 to 17 hours straight. So the only way that you're going to get through the training process and the preparation and then race day itself is if you actually break it down into small pieces. So when I'm preparing for an Ironman, I'm just focused on today's workout or, getting through the week by getting through all the mileage that needs to be done on swim, bike, and run.
Okay.
And similarly on race day, I'm just thinking about one stroke, one pedal, one step at a time when I'm swimming, biking, or running. And I'm not worried about what has happened and what is yet to come. So that, focus on being present in the moment, I think, is a very, very powerful way to approach problems, whether it is training for an endurance race or whether it is building anything in business or in life.
And you mentioned right now how the time it takes to, train for an Ironman, such a physically demanding competition. Like, how has this philosophy influenced the habits you've built? Are there any specific habits you've built, either personally or professionally, that really help you day to day?
Right. So, Rehan, I'm a big believer in consistency and just doing the small stuff really well. And the small stuff in a workout could be that, hey, are you hydrating enough? Are you stretching? Are you warming up? Are you cooling down? Right? It's not about the flashy stuff of running a 5-minute mile or, trying to lift a PR every time you hit the gym.
Yeah.
It's just about doing the simple stuff really well. And I think this is very old-fashioned and it's also gone out of favor. I think today, Rehan, everywhere we look, we favor intensity over consistency.
Yeah.
We're in the beginning of 2026, and people are, I don't know if people are still hanging on to their New Year's resolutions, right? But a New Year's resolution is a great example of intensity.
Yeah.
You make a pledge on December 31st that I'm never going to drink again, or I'm going to lose weight. And by Jan 5th, that's out the window, right? We're also in a world where we celebrate the reel that goes viral, or the guy that scores, a quick fire 100 in an IPL game, right? But nobody wants to talk about the boring grind, the author that writes a best-selling book, or the guy that grinds out 100 on a turning pitch in Australia. It's actually consistency that wins over intensity in the long term.
Understood. That's really insightful. And you've also operated in high pressure environments, like these leadership positions you've taken. How do you personally take care of your mental and physical health while leading at the top?
Right. So I think, Rehan, for anybody who is building a long-term career, you have to take care of your mind and your body, right? Before you can take care of your wallet, right? Because if you don't have mental and physical health, money will not find you. And I think it's really important because today, whether you're running a startup or an established business, or trying to do anything, you have travel, you have stress, you have random stuff that will hit you, right? And the world itself is changing so quickly with AI and technology and all this other stuff. So I think in all of this chaos and madness, whether it's in school, college, or in the workplace, I think it's really important to focus on being balanced physically and balanced mentally. And I think that's also where eating clean, so eating something like snack, can really be the X factor.
Yeah. Well, also, Mr. Nalin, do you believe that physical health is directly related to your decision making and leadership abilities? Have you experienced this firsthand, where your improvement in physical health, help you in your decision making in the professional world?
So Rehan, I really started this journey of endurance sports and physical health in late 2016, and I found a marked difference in my energy at work. So before 2016, I'd roll out of bed at, let's say, 7:45, 8 o'clock, have a heavy breakfast, and then really only get started working once I'd had 2 or 3 coffees at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right? Now contrast that to somebody who's getting up at 4:30, right? And is going out for a run, coming back home at 6:37, having a clean breakfast, and then, getting started at work at 8 o'clock, right? You not only have more time, but surprisingly, that physical exercise clears out the cobwebs in your mind, and it just gives you so much more energy to tackle the problems. And I think, I also think that doing any kind of physical activity also is a great stress buster. It brings a sense of emotional stability. And I also think that, very stereotypically, people in business are drawn to people who are physically fitter. So it shouldn't be like that, because, but somehow it does feel that, the fitter you are, the younger you look, the more drawn people are to you, in anything that you're doing.
So, Mr. Nalin, you mentioned not just consistency, but those small gains over time, how they compound. How do you apply that same logic to thinking in business and investing?
Right. So actually, I'll give you an example, Rehan, from high school and college, right? let's park the business side for a minute. All right. Uh, you know, most of your classmates at Cathedral are aspiring to study at a top US university or a top UK university, right? And there a lot of people will have similar kind of profiles. They would have great scores, great standardized tests, good recommendations, a research project, internships, right? Strong predicted grades if you're doing the IB, and so on and so forth, right? There's very little to differentiate one person from the other. But somehow, somebody who does just 1% better gets in,
Yeah.
and the person who does 1% less doesn't, right? So it's almost that 99% of the gains accrue to the person who is 1% better. And there's no better example of why the small stuff matters, the small gains matter. There's actually a Japanese philosophy called Kaizen, which is basically the process of continuous improvement. It's a manufacturing framework, but actually you can use the principle of Kaizen for anything in your life. And pretty much anything worth aspiring to, whether it is an Ivy League school or a dream job or an Ironman or, getting funding for your startup, is competitive.
Yeah.
And anything that is competitive, the big wins accrue to somebody who is just that marginally better.
Yeah. And you're right now talking about an Ivy League admission. It's all like just really youth related. And in this day and age, many young entrepreneurs want really fast results. And they aren't going to put in that long-term time and, long-term execution. What's that one piece of advice you give founders who are struggling with patience?
I think businesses take way much more longer than any business plan to build, right? Because markets evolve, customers evolve, technology evolves, right? So it's very easy to raise funding for an idea, right? That is abundant today in India, but it's much harder to build a product that people really love, right? It's much harder to attract customers, much harder to hire people, to do the boring stuff. But that's really, Rehan, what helps you to build a business, and all of that takes time. And the real success of the business, of any business, is what Y Combinator says: if you can make something that people want. So Y Combinator's tagline is make something that people want.
Yeah.
Right? And only time can help you to do that.
Understood. And you've transitioned across multiple leadership roles in your career. What is that early lesson that most people, miss out on that still shapes how you make decisions today?
So Rehan, I, much to the contrary of what people may think, having heard me for the last 5-10 minutes, it is not about process and being robotic, right? It's actually, any business is about people, right? And an ability to connect to people is really, I think, the X factor in even the most technical of business, right? And I have a secret to tell you, right? So I am a collector of people, Rehan. And what do I mean by that? I have about 12,500 contacts on my phone.
Wow.
And I have documented little details about people, I bring that up at different points of time, and that creates a point of magic, right? So just to give you an example, I was looking at my phone before this call, right? And I saw that I met your mom and dad for the very first time at the Four Seasons Hotel in Worli on November 16th of 2019. And we spent an afternoon together doing a seminar there, right? Now, I don't know if they remember that, right? And I remember that they spoke fondly about you and your younger brother, Ranveer, who were 12 and 8 at that time. And you guys were going through your tween years, right? So it's a random detail that I wouldn't remember, but I have that saved in my phone somewhere. So like that, I have these little details about 12,500 people.
Wow.
I'm not a stalker, don't worry. But, that being able to remember those small details about people helps you to really connect to somebody at a human level.
Yeah.
And I think that is really a lesson for anybody looking to build anything of value.
I've never heard of this. This is so interesting. I'm gonna start doing this for sure. And as a leader, how do you create cultures where people are willing to push past their comfort zones without burning out?
So, Rehan, I'm not a mountaineer, but actually, I love watching videos about Mount Everest. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Right? And there is, if you have seen people climb Mount Everest, you could actually do it in 4 to 5 days.
Yeah.
But then why does it take 2 months to have an Everest expedition, right? The reason is that you are constantly climbing and then coming down and then resting. You're climbing, coming down and resting. So this is a process of, and it may actually seem counterintuitive that if you have to get to 8,850 meters, why are you climbing and then coming down again, and then climbing some more and then coming down again? The reason is that you are acclimatizing and then you are resting. And I think that there is a very powerful lesson in that, Rehan, which is that you have to push and then you've got to come back and rest. You have to stress and then rest, right? And the periods of rest and coming down are actually really important to consolidate your gains.
Yeah.
And I think that's also true even when you are training for a marathon or for an Ironman, right? You can't be go all the time.
Yeah.
We have easy workouts, we have easy weeks, we have periods of recovery, and that's when your body has a time to heal and then really grow. So it's the same thing in the workplace, Rehan, right? You may have a sprint to get a year-end or a quarter-end deadline or a new product launch, but then you've got to allow people some time to decompress. You have to give people a chance to basically make process out of chaos.
Yeah.
And then you can grow to the next level.
Yeah. And you were talking about your Ironman and how you rest and recover and how training and stuff is so important. How could an average person like me get into something like this and to achieve this? It's a huge milestone, so there has to be like a roadmap you followed.
So, Rehan, anybody can do it, actually. It's about an aspiration. And the motto of Ironman is actually anything is possible, right? And I love that motto because it speaks about those 3 words, anything is possible, speak about ambition, about dreaming, but it also speaks about risk and what can go wrong, right?
Yeah.
So if you really embrace the philosophy of anything is possible, it starts with an ambition, a why. And once you have a why, then you'll find the how, you'll find the what.
Yeah.
But any dream starts with a why.
Really, really inspirational. And last question. If there was one piece of advice you could give a 17-year-old on how to raise the bar, what would that be?
I think this is really interesting, Rehan, right? So I mentor a lot of high school juniors and seniors, and college students, mainly guys and girls who have gone to Penn, because that's my alma mater, right? And I think that there is a real break between your aspiration till 17, 18, and then your aspiration afterwards. And let me give you some more detail on this, right? A lot of you guys are thinking about college admissions and college process, right? You've probably planned very meticulously, since probably 7th or 8th grade, right? Every class, every club, every extracurricular activity is well thought out, right? But nobody plans for what happens next, right? So if your dream school is Penn or NYU or Harvard, or pick your favorite elite institution, what will you do when you finally get there, when you step on the campus? Right? Nobody has any plan, right? So then they just go with the flow, right? And I think best advice that I can give somebody who is 17 or 18 is to have an authentic personal plan for how you'll spend the next 4 to 5 years. Right? It may be that you want to learn how to code, even though you're an English major. Or maybe you want to become a better public speaker, even though you're a computer science geek, right? Or maybe you want to travel, you want to study in America, but you want to travel and see South America because that's a place you've never been to, right? Whatever it is, or maybe you want to get a great job and immigrate to America. Whatever it is, just have an ambition, have a plan that is personal, right? Because without some sketch of a plan, Rehan, how will you achieve success? How will you have any ambition?
You get lost along the way.
You'll get lost along. You'll live somebody else's life.
Absolutely.
Right? So we just actually got done with early decision admits for a class of 2030, right? And every single ED admit that I've spoken to, I'm telling them, start sketching what your 4-year plan will be when you get to college.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey and insights today. From endurance, sports to leadership and investing, your story really highlights how consistency, health and mindset compound over time. At Raise the Bar, we believe success isn't just about outcomes, it's about habits, discipline, and showing up every day. I hope this conversation inspires our listeners to invest not only in their careers, but also in their health and personal growth. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode.